And welcome back at the Academy Art University. We're doing 1v1's again this weekend, and it's going to be Persin versus PBJayz playing Nami.
This is a very interesting champion for a 1v1 tournament. It's definitely going to be very skill-paced, and I'm thinking most of these players, well, these two players right here are probably not that experienced in playing Nami, so landing those bubbles, it's going to be interesting.
So it seems we have Persin is in the mindset of a mid right now, using Flash Ignite, and it looks like PBJayz has a mindset of they're still playing support using Ignite and Exhaust.
This is going to be very interesting because if PBJayz can land a bubble, drop that Exhaust, he's going to be able to get so many hits out on Persin that drop that Ignite, it might be enough for a kill just right there. So we could be seeing a very early first blood, or it could be a very prolonged game.
Now, I feel that Nami's kit is not necessarily set up for the flash, where you flash in really quick and you deal a bunch of damage. I feel it's more of a constant chip away, and so I feel like PBJay's setup is more consistent. I feel like it's CC slow, and I'm just chipping away with auto attacks. So a person looks like he's going for we're both very low, and this is where I'm going to catch you off guard.
If he can land those bubbles, then that's definitely, I think, a possibility for him. But it's just going to come down to player skill, and I don't know how experienced either of those players are with Nami, but from my experience, those definitely not the easiest skill shot to land. So
now we've seen Persin play aggressive before, and we had a very opportunistic, chance with dropping the Ignite on Black Magic 1991.
Right.
So again, he's waiting for that right chance. He's observing, he's watching. And so that flash is kind of perhaps not necessarily the best pick for Nami in this situation, seeing that this is going to be a very short skirmish, but it does suit his playstyle.
Definitely, and the trick will be whether Persin can make Nami suit his playstyle. And both players we're seeing starting with a Doran's Ring, and it looks like it's going to be a Doran's Ring and 2 health pots for PBJayz, while it's a Doran's Ring, a health pot, and a mana pot for Persin.
Now, is the Biscuit, you feel that just from his masteries of support, do you think he's going this full support build, or do you think, I'm playing Nami, here's my runes for Nami, here's my masteries for Nami, or do you feel like this was actually a choice, like, I'll actually run Biscuit?
I don't think it's a bad choice. Whether it was intentional or not, I'm not sure. I'm thinking he might just be using a standard support build. But definitely the Biscuit, I don't think it's actually a bad choice here, because this, with trades going back and forth and just auto attacks going off, it's going to help get him some mana back, get him some health back, and we'll see how effective it is, though.
Now, it seems that, PBJayz is letting Persin push. Generally, this is okay for the trade-off to kind of have the tower in your favor for these baits, but that's what Persin likes, is to have most of the lane to his back. He likes pushing you up, and PBJayz taking quite a bit of damage from that exchange, but pushes Persin out, and now Persin has to pop a pot, and so is PBJayz. Is this really going to be a quick steal, where you have a bubble and a flash and they melt really quickly, or are we actually going to see this constant trade and then the final kill? Because it looks like there was quite a bit of burst from PBJayz.
Yes, early on, Nami does not have a lot of health, and she has a surprising amount of AP as well. Persin missing a bubble there, that could have been a lot of damage going on to PBJayz. But with her, I can't remember what skill it is, I believe it is her W, that is both an attack and a heal for Nami. If the trick is going to be getting that,
and the bubble lands from Persin on a PBJayz, not quite much of a follow-up. PBJayz forced to use another pot, some harass coming out. Persin's really low on mana now, using a pot though.
Yes, and PBJayz doing a very good job at keeping his mana up and still having about the same amount of life as Persin does. So this is so far playing out in PBJayz's favor.
And if we take a quick look at the CS, both of them are pretty close. 8 and 12 is kind of or now 12-9 is kind of a large gap if you look at it was to continue at this rate. You know, in these short skirmishes, that is the difference between when you back, someone gets the item and the other person doesn't. You know, it looks like PBJayz is kind of zoning a little bit. Persin is afraid of, you know, those levels. And a bubble does land for PBJayz. PBJayz turning around, ignite on the PBJayz. Persin turning around. PBJayz health is ticking away. It looks like Persin might get on the tower, is afraid of it after one auto attack returns from PBJayz. And PBJayz slips away just barely.
That was really close. That was a good bubble landing from PBJayz, but I think he's sitting there a little bit too long. He got a little bit too close. He should have just landed that bubble, got an auto attack off, got that wave off, and just backed out. So that actually turned on Persin's favor. However, PBJayz is still at nearly full mana, while Persin is almost out.
Well, if you look at the trade-off, Persin doesn't have a whole lot of mana, but it's enough to get a bubble. And even though Persin is low on mana, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have enough for a combo. So if he can still get his combo out, he can pick up PBJayz. And look at the health now with that. And the bubble doesn't quite land on Persin. If it did, though, you were going to see a lot of health getting stole from Persin and going back to PBJayz. Because with the ebb and flow, they're basically exchanging health. It's like, I deal damage to you and take the health, and then PBJayz does it back and gains the health back and removes it. And so they're just trading health points right now.
And we're seeing a recall from Persin. I really like this because he is low on mana. He really needs to get his mana back up. I'm going to be interested in what items he ends up buying.
And so he has 790 gold right now. And do you think he should wait for like a blasting cap or a blasting wand? Should he go for this AP? No, he's going to go for a mantle and pots.
I do like this. I think going for bigger items like that blasting cap, like blasting wand, sorry. It's a little bit it's a little bit long term for this, because this match I think is going to end still fairly early on. It's probably going to be over about the 7-8 level mark after both these players get their ultimates. However, we can see getting the defensive item on Persin. I think this is a good choice.
And a quick exchange of bubbles. PBJayz makes a great dodge on that. I feel at this point, PBJayz should recall right now and not waste a whole lot of time, because you can see the towers eating up through the minion waves. And PBJayz really needs to go back and get his mana. And there's a recall right there. He really should pick up an item. Persin wants to come and harass a little bit. An ultimate coming down on PBJayz. Doesn't quite hit him. Some trades from Persin and PBJayz, but because that knockup didn't happen, that kill wasn't secured.
That would have been interesting if he had got that, his ultimate, got that bubble. That might have been enough for a kill, although Ignite is still off cooldown for Persin.
And in these earlier games, Ignite is dealing 170 true damage. That is a lot.
That is
in these short matches, because you can put that on early or you put that on late, and that allows you to do other things, whether that is auto attack, whether that is cast skills, or whether that's escape. And those 5 seconds is quite a long time in these 1v1 fights.
Definitely, and now both players being back at relatively full health and full mana.
An exchange of bubbles. Persin is going to land. PBJayz is going to turn and engage. The exhaust goes down and auto attacks. As we said, that when that exhaust comes out, he's going to land a lot of auto attacks. And that was about 5 auto attacks.
And you can see it was doing damage to Persin, but he's already almost back up at full health. However, he is lower on mana, having to pop those mana pots.
And you can see Persin is using that ebb and flow after those exchanges when PBJayz is running away to get that back. And another bubble lands, and you can see PBJayz using his ultimate. Persin misses the bubbles. Ignite going down on Persin. Persin getting very low. PBJayz following up. Ebb and flow trying to keep him alive. He only has like about 150 health. Slips away from PBJayz. Persin almost lost it right there.
That was a very good engagement from PBJayz, and knowing that Persin's flash was on cooldown because he used it earlier, and his ultimate was on cooldown as well. It just wasn't quite enough to kill him, though.
And you can see a bubble. PBJayz was looking for a return right there. Persin lands the bubble. Didn't think that he was necessarily going to land that PBJayz was going to walk away. And he did land it, but he didn't have a chance really to follow up. So I feel like right now the champions are going with magic resist, which is really good. But because this is turning out to be kind of an auto attack game where usually Nami scales off AP, but it's the auto attacks that are going to get kills, I'm waiting to see a longsword or maybe even a Doran's Blade. I'm waiting to see some attack damage come out. We saw it before with the Fiddlesticks match.
And I definitely think in this match, that's definitely a viable option and definitely a good option. Both players here, though, going for more AP, more mana, so they can just spam their skills more often.
And it looks like PBJayz got taken kind of low from those caster minions to almost half health. And so, you know, he was trying to zone Persin, and that was kind of a mistake, because now he's very low. And he doesn't have a health pot to get back up. And so that's going to be quite a bit of influence on the next trade. When you look and you see almost 800 health on Persin, and you have about 700 now. So just that 100 difference is, you know, about an auto attack. And a bubble missing on Persin, a great dodge. It looks like PBJayz is going to return. PBJayz very low, doesn't really have quite a bit to engage. And PBJayz is forced out of lane again, and there's going to be recall. So at this point, PBJayz is going to get ulted. Does a great job at dodging. Not a whole lot of wiggle room there, but does manage to get out of the way. And it looks like PBJayz is going to stick around to see if he can pick up some of the CS. Persin likes this though. He wants to jump in at this moment. You can see he's getting a little aggressive. Is this time for PBJayz to sacrifice that tower and leave, or is it safe enough for PBJayz to stay?
I think he really does need to back out. Even though Persin does not have any mana right now, he is low enough that if Persin get one bubble off, just enough auto attacks and that ignite, it might be enough for a kill. And as it is, he's getting a little more mana back now, enough for that ebb and flow and the bubble. It's pretty close.
Now what happened there is the mana cast from the tidal wave was 100 mana, and that's quite a bit at this stage. And so when Persin started to get aggressive and activated Tidecaller's Blessing, it brought him down really low, and PBJayz knew that he could stay in lane now because Persin wasn't going to be able to dive in. You know, he didn't have quite, even if he landed a bubble, he wouldn't be able to follow up with Tidecaller's Blessing. So that's why he chose to stay. Now you can see they're very close in health, very close in mana right now. And now they're both trading health right now, and because of ebb and flow, they are gaining health. PBJayz is getting a little bit of harassed on a Persin. He's going to have to wait again. Ebb and flow, possibly a minion. If he can get close to PBJayz without getting snared by the bubble, he might be able to take some of that away. But it looks like he needs to play passive right now.
Now here's one thing that's very interesting is PBJayz has Persin's tower almost at a quarter health now. I think this actually could be a matchup that goes based on the tower kill.
And then it'll be one of the first that this will be the first one we've seen in the 1v1's tournament so far. If you look at the CS, it's very close as well. 990, or excuse me, not very close. It's 41 to 46. Persin getting exhausted, gets hit by the tidal wave, flashes over with the ignite, and Persin picks it up before he falls to the ignite. So again, that's what I was saying. He's waiting for the right opportunity to jump in, and so you know, you see that PBJayz goes, here's my chance, and Persin was waiting for it, and he just stole that away from PBJayz.
That was a very, very close trade right there. And, you know, PBJayz doing a good job. He threw out that ultimate, he threw out that exhaust. He was hoping to, I think, zone Persin away from the tower so he might be able to get those last few hits on it, but Persin responded in kind, and with that ignite was enough to kill PBJayz. So we will be right back with the next match.